after lunch, right? Everybody wants to take a good old nap, okay? It's not happening, not in this session, okay? We're gonna have a lot of interaction as well, so be ready for that. And before we get started, or as we get started, I want you to say, in your loudest voice, get a grip.
Get a grip.
Say it again, get a grip. Okay? That's what I want you guys to tell people from this moment forward when they're not being their best. Okay? You may have to tell yourself that as well. If you're managing a conflict or someone's getting on your nerves and you really want to do something maybe illegal, we'll talk about that, but you can't. Tell yourself, get a grip, or you may have to tell them, like, get a grip, okay? So add that to your vocabulary. So today we're going to be talking about how to successfully manage your relationship. What types of relationships do we have? Just call out.
Marriage.
Your marriage, your spouse, okay?
Parenting.
I'm sorry?
Parenting.
Parenting, absolutely. I have 2 little ones, so. Professional, your coworkers as well. So keep all of those different relationships in mind as we go through everything for today. And personal, your friends, your girlfriends, okay? The other thing too is the disclaimer. I do not want to be responsible for breaking up any relationships today. So if you're here with your spouse or a friend and some stuff comes up, okay, take care of that later and get a grip, okay? Cannot be responsible for that. So I'm going to actually walk over here. So let me just ask you guys a question, and I want you to tell the truth. Raise your hand, actually. If you work or live with someone who stresses you out from time to time. Okay, hold on, so say, all the time. Oh, you too. I'm not touching with the bowl. Okay? What about they get on your nerves? Okay? What about at work? You work with people that get on your nerves sometimes, okay? Someone's waving like this. Just blink twice if you need me to rescue you. If anything going on, just give me like the rescue blink. What about someone who drives you to drink? My mom used to say that phrase. Oh, it's a smart word.
Oh.
Ooh, I'm not afraid of technology, so I had to like touch it. Okay, now I know. It's like this is like Vanna White here. Okay? And I already mentioned this, but you ever know someone who makes you want to do something illegal? Like with a weapon, like you had a weapon nearby, you know, a pen you would just write all over their face. I don't know. I'm not really violent, so I'm not sure, you know, how good I would be at that. But the honest truth is, when our relationships are going well, we don't have anything to worry about. It's when our relationships go bad or go sour that we have issues. What is the common theme or the common thread? It starts with a C. Communication. But what's happening between you and someone else and their issues? Conflict. Absolutely. Okay? Hold on. All right. We're back. So this is what I want to do. I want to get a sense for everyone who's in the room, so we are going to do sort of the traditional introductions, but this is the way we're going to do them. I want you to tell me the first word that comes to mind when you think about conflict. Not the definition of conflict, but when you think about if I'm in a conflict with someone, if I'm in a disagreement with someone, what's the first word that comes to mind? And then I also would like you to tell me your name and what you do, okay? So think about it. And I'm going to write down so that I have everyone's name. I'm also a college professor part-time, so I get into kind of teacher mode. So I will be calling you all by name throughout our session. Okay, so we're going to start in the back and work our way to the front. Okay? So all we're asking is your name, what do you do, what is the first word that comes to mind when you think about conflict? Okay, gentleman in the back with the hat.
Steve Fisher. And I run a housing authority in a city near here. And the question is?
And what's the first? Yeah, good one.
My name is Earthly Jackson. The first word comes with breakdown.
Breakdown.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Okay.
Oh, I'm Morgan Buey. Work with COSA, the County Office of Services for the Aging. And the first word that comes to my mind when I think of conflict is management, actually.
Okay, awesome. That's a good word association. Thank you. Okay, next.
My name is Julie Iwa. I also work with COSA. First word that comes to my mind is also management.
It's also management, okay.
My name is Linda Davis, and I work at COSA as well. And the first word that comes to my mind is empowerment.
Awesome.
My name is LaVonda Brown. I work for a company named Nathan Sports. I'm the distribution manager. The word conflict, the first word that pops out for me would, only because the individual I deal with conflict is attitude.
Okay.
Maureen Friedman, also Nathan Sports, HR credit manager. First word is hyphenated, problem solved.
Good one. Awesome.
My name is Linda Howe Jefferson, and I work for IS Department at Crozer Hospital. And the first word that comes to my mind is attitude.
Okay. I feel like she said that with a little bit of attitude too, right? The first thing that comes to mind is that attitude. I love that. You embodied that. Thank you.
I'm Ramona Kyler. I work at Crozer in the IS department as well, and I think of anger.
Anger.
My name's Kelly Keefe. I wear many hats as well. I do sales, renewable business view, and I am a public speaker, Reiki practitioner. And the first word I thought of was friction.
Good afternoon. My name is Evelyn Gardner. I'm a family therapist, and the first word that came to my mind was avoidance as well.
My name is Lucretia Chamberlain, and I'm a business owner. It's called Kid Caters, and we do children's entertainment. And I also bartend. And the first word that comes to mind with conflict is negative energy.
Negative energy. Great.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Ellis. I work for George W. Hill Correctional Facility.
Uh-oh. What comes to you in your mind? Taser, lockdown, handcuffs, prisoner, code red. I can just imagine.
The first word that comes to my mind when you think about a conflict, I'm gonna have to say my coworkers.
Uh-oh. So it's funny that you actually are a correctional officer, and the first thing that comes to mind is not the inmates.
You'd be surprised.
It's your coworkers. Okay, so we're going to talk about that.
Randy,
Okay.
there's somebody over here I think you skipped.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go back to the back. So we're just introducing ourselves, and we are saying the first word that comes to mind when you think about conflict.
Jesus. My name is Elise Gillum, and I'm Administrative Assistant Parks and Recreation at City of Chester. And the first thing that comes to my mind is miscommunication.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. And then we're going to fill in the back if you just came in. Yes?
My name is Diane Williams. I'm a pediatric nurse, and I'm a motivational speaker for Parenting with a Purpose. The first thing kind of mind is misunderstanding.
Yes. Absolutely. Misunderstanding. Okay.
My name is Linda Tell.
Disagreement. Yeah.
My name is Cindy Cobb, and confusion.
Okay.
United Soto, I guess miscommunication.
Okay.
Teresa Day, site manager, senior housing. I would say not listening.
Not listening. Okay, yes.
I'm representing the people on live stream. Wanda Johnson, a CFO, said a revolution is her first word association. My name is Nikita Bigton. I'm a women's executive balance advisor, and my first word that I can think of is teenagers.
Let me guess who you have at home. Okay. And then I think we're close to the front.
My name is Shalima Demaras. I work in the loans. The first thing that comes to mind is confrontation.
Okay.
Glenn Maris, I work with Transportation Security Administration. I'm a program analyst. I would say disagreement.
Okay.
My name is Kate. I'm an account manager at American Tennis Screen, and the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear conflict is tension.
Tension. Okay.
My name is Fran. I'm an administrative assistant for a CPA firm, and my first thought is with the conflicts, how can I avoid it?
Yes. Okay. Yep.
My name is Heather Hale. Now laid off a position I did have, but the first thing that comes to my mind is when you say conflict, is that some people just like to cause confusion.
Did I miss anybody? Chris.
Hi, my name is Chris. I'm president and owner of Verify Protect, and the first word that comes to mind for me is frustration.
Frustration. So why did I ask and take the time for every single person to share the first thing that came to mind when they think about conflict? Why was that important for the group? What does that tell us?
Everybody view it differently.
Absolutely. Everybody views it differently. Some of us think about frustration, miscommunication, managing it, maybe managing attitude, anger, but it's all different. That's the first step to managing your relationships, is understanding your perspectives are going to be different. And when there's conflict because there are two different opinions about how a situation is supposed to go. Are you guys following me with that?
Yes.
So where do we get how we manage conflict? Where do we get that from? How do we learn to manage our conflict?
At home.
At home when you're growing up. So this is the first thing I want you to do today. I want you to think about your household, how you grew up and how conflict was managed or handled at home. In my home, conflict was handled with a hand.
Amen. There
was much to say. Yeah. I mean, it involved you probably sliding across the floor. Okay? If it was carpet, you would get a little bit of a burn afterwards. Get some Vaseline, AD ointment. But if there was an issue, okay, or yelling, verbal, out, we weren't avoiders in my household. But some households are different. Also, in some of your households, when you think back at your mother or your father, maybe dad, when he was mad, he didn't say anything. He was very quiet or silent, and it was a quiet storm. Or maybe mom was more outgoing. Maybe she told you what was on her mind. I have to get it off my chest. I just have to say this, okay? It differs in all of our households. So what I want you to do is think about how you were raised and how conflict was managed, and take just 1 minute and share with the person sitting next to you or beside you, so that we can also get a sense for how we were raised and how there are some differences, okay? So I'm going to give you guys a collective about 2 minutes, and then we'll come back to the group, okay? You may begin. If you hear me and you're ready to wrap up, I want you to say, get a grip. Get a grip. Say again, get a grip. Get a grip. Okay, so what are some interesting, anything that you heard? We don't want to incriminate anyone's parent. We don't want to any old skeleton. But would anyone like to share their experience or the experience from their partner?
I thought what was interesting is that me and her had in common that our mom was there, but just as a body, not more so as a person.
Wow. Yes, and it was present. They took care of your basic needs. You had food, but not as a nurturer.
Wait, what do you mean? No, not that.
Oh, okay. Just there. Just in you.
Just alcoholism and yelling.
Yes. Absolutely. Yelling, fighting. Anyone grew up in a household that conflict was managed in a dysfunctional way, maybe yelling, outbursts by a show of hands? Anyone else live in a household where conflict was managed very differently, either very diplomatically, let's sit down at the dinner table, let's talk about this, or maybe avoid it altogether? Anyone with Chris?
My mom would be like, wait till your father gets home.
Oh, right. She doesn't want to deal with it. Absolutely. Now,
My mother was very diplomatic, but if there's 5 siblings, if we couldn't work it out diplomatically, then she became the dictator.
Absolutely. She took control of the situation. Okay, she told you what to do.
Yeah.
Now, think about it. For most of us, without even knowing it, we pick up on the way either one of our parents or in our households how conflict was managed. We do it ourselves. I swore that I was not going to be harsh or hard on my children when I was younger, because my mom was really quick with her tongue and her mouth, okay? And she would cut me down and say, she would just do the eye. You ever have parents who do the eye? The look, okay? I try to with my daughter and my kid, it doesn't work. Thanks to the glasses and the reflection, they don't work. But I do notice though, as my children are getting older, I'm starting to do the same thing. I find myself that I'm like, I told myself I wouldn't do that. So you really have to train yourself. But this is why I want us to think about sort of taking a walk down, a trip back down memory lane. is because when we're working with people who get on our nerves, who get under our skin, if you're married to people, not you, that get on your nerves, they get under your skin, it stresses you out. You have to understand that maybe they grew up in a household where conflict was managed in a dysfunctional way, okay? And dysfunctional doesn't mean it's always about screaming, yelling, and hitting and anger. Avoidance is a very dysfunctional way, and we'll talk about that a little bit more today. Are you guys following me?
Yes.
Okay? So, I want to take it back even further, okay? And let's talk about emotional triggers. So before we get into ways to manage those relationships and through that conflict, I want each of us to start to reflect on our own emotional triggers. We all have those things that tick us off, right? And sometimes it feels like we go from 0 to 60, but we're not going from 0 to 60. It's a slow buildup, okay? And we go off, or we snap, or we shut down. For some of us, you cracked up. I can't see you snapping at anybody.
Ask her.
Oh, okay. I'll wait in the hallway.
She's showing eyes that
I should have had you guys sign confidentiality. But what I want you to do is, if you have something to write with, or if you could just think about it, write this down. A few things I'm going to give you. The first thing is going to be one of your emotional triggers. It may be something like lying when you're lied to. This is something that makes you angry, okay? So if you find out that someone has lied to you, or you think that maybe they're lying to you, that's an example of one. Disrespect. When you see someone else being disrespected or taken advantage of, or you feel that you're being disrespected, sometimes that ticks a lot of you off. It sets you off. It's a trigger, okay? There's so many different things that can be emotional triggers, but think about what it is for you. And think about it in context, okay? I mean, on the job. Think about something recent when someone irritated you, okay? When they got on your nerves and you have that physiological reaction. What is the physiological reaction that we have when we get angry sometimes?
My face twitches.
Face twitches, your neck gets red. Some of you can't hide it. I love people whose necks and their faces get red. You can't hide it, okay? You start to twitch, or do one of those, you don't even know you're doing it.
You want to smack them so.
Okay? Okay? You feel your heart skip a beat. You ever had someone say something to you and you're like, uh-oh, I feel it. Sometimes you can feel it first before you act out. That's a way to catch yourself. So I want you to start to think about those emotional triggers, those things that people do or say. Sometimes it can be nonverbal. Someone could look at you a certain way. Are you staring at? Is there, you know? Think about that. Just one of your major emotional triggers. The next thing I want you to do is think about how you react to that. Do you get defensive? Do you shut down? Do you get angry right away? The thing about emotional triggers is it happens so fast. But what you don't want is to keep going through life getting triggered by the same thing. It's controlling you. Every time you think someone's disrespecting you, oh, you about to go off. You want to get Let me put these guns away. I don't want y'all to Zumba before I came today, okay? But I want you to think about your reaction to that. And how does that impact the relationship? So, and think on the job, depending on the type of place where you work, if you have to interact with a lot of people. If you're the IT guy and you're sitting in the corner, think about another relationship. But think about on the job and think about personally as well. Okay, I'm glad my husband's not here because I'm going to be giving up some examples soon using him today. So the first thing is the emotional trigger. What is your reaction to that emotional trigger? What do? You shut down, you cry, you get angry, you get, okay, whatever that is. And what does that do for the relationship? And then I want you to think about an alternate way to react. And the reason why I want us to share that today is because what's a trigger for you may not be a trigger for me. That's the blessing in all of this. For some of us, things really get under our skin. They really bother us. They really push us over the edge, and someone else manages it very well. You want to start to figure out who's in your network, who's in your circle, your coworkers, your family members, who manage the same things that bother you, but they manage it well. Figure out how they do that. What psychological space do they put themselves in to be able to overcome that? Are you guys following me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking now. So take a moment, take a minute or so to think about these things, and then we're gonna share. Okay, so this is what I want to do. I want to hear from two people, And then I'm gonna have you guys actually share together with your partners, the people who you're sitting around, just for time's sake. So I know you wanted to share.
Yes, well, I'm a born-again Christian. It took me a long time, because I'm the type of person, you say something outweigh me, I'm ready to fly off the handle. So now, what really gets on my nerves is that people who think they have to be in charge of everything and act like they know everything, it just like aggravates me, irritates me that I just want to bring up another neck. So what I do is now I just look, I say, oh Lord Jesus help me, I start praying and I just say, hi, how you doing? Or if they say something out of the way, I just look at them, have a nice day and keep on moving.
Anyone in here, you also have difficulty with people who want to control everything, they want to be in charge, okay? I don't have a problem with that because usually I'm that person. I'm the offender for things like that, okay? Who else? I want to hear from someone else.
My triggers is disrespect.
Okay, perceived disrespect. You perceive someone as being disrespectful.
Yes. If somebody if they disrespecting someone else, like for example, I do parenting with a purpose, so I see parents disrespect their children, expect their children to respect them back. That gets on my skin. And with my own life, with my family, disrespect. So one of the ways I handle, which is not a good way, and it severs relationships because I shut down, I cut them off.
Yes.
And I know that's
anyone
not
hear
good.
you cut off people when you get,
You have to.
absolutely.
You have to.
Yeah, it's difficult, and I know exactly what you're saying with parents who like hit their kids and say no hitting, like, no hitting, but it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so those are awesome. Go ahead and take a moment or two, share with in your area with people. I want to make sure that everyone's sharing what your emotional trigger is, okay, and an alternate way that you can react. I'm going to give everyone about 2 minutes, okay? Okay, you may begin. About your emotional triggers. What is helpful about just what you just did? It clears the air. Yeah.
Different time where you come from, right?
Absolutely. Discipline. Discipline, what do you mean by discipline?
It helps you learn a new way to handle situations.
You can't change if you're not aware of something. And sometimes the same patterns happen, especially in conflict, over and over again. My husband and I, we do the same thing every day, every week. Without you, like, yes. Without even realizing, I have to step back and say, why are you expecting something different? Why? You know, like, you know what it's going to be, so you adjust. The other thing is with conflict, you cannot change other people. You can't. Don't be here and say, well, Dr. Brandi told me you an avoider. I can tell you avoiding this now. Did that trigger you just now? Don't go to work and say, I can tell I just triggered you. So what I want you to do, don't do that, okay? But what's powerful about it is you can change yourself and others will change. In a conflict situation, if they're expecting you, and we'll talk about it before the end of today, but if they're expecting you to avoid, you're that avoider. You're like, no, it didn't happen, I didn't see anything, I don't know anything, I don't want to talk about it. If they're expecting you to avoid and you show up one day and say, I actually want to speak to you about something, they're going to go, okay? They're going to change their little tune. Okay? It's weird. So it's not about you changing anybody else. Adjust yourself. Adjust the way you communicate in a conflict situation. Trust me, other people will fall into place and fall into line. That coworker, that employee, that supervisor, okay, that you're always bumping heads with, it's called intractable conflict. That means you're doing the same thing, they're doing the same thing, and you keep getting the same result. Once you get out of that loop and switch it up, the whole dynamic is going to change. Are you guys following me? Yes. So one of the ways that, one of the things that makes it difficult for us to manage our relationship, especially with conflicts, is no, saying no. Even when in here you have a hard time saying no, okay? And for all of us, we have a hard time saying no depending on the situation, depending on who it is, for all of us. So this is what I want to do. I want to break the group up, and we're going to come up with as many different ways to say no as possible, okay? You guys remember the 80s, like just say no? I'm an 80s baby, just say no. This is what I want to do. I'm going to count off 1 through 5, and then I'm going to split the group up. We're going to do a quick activity, okay? You guys are saying no to me, okay? Yes. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. We're going to keep doing the same thing. So you'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. You'll be 3, 4, 5.
One.
2. I'm going all the way to the back. 4. Yep, just count off.
5,
Okay, Teresa.
1,
2. My fingers get crazy. In the red vest, what's your name? Linda. Linda will be 4.
5, 1, 2.
Okay. Who doesn't have a number? Everyone has a number? Okay, good. I want the ones over here. Come on, get up, come over here. Yeah, take your stuff. You'll be here for the remainder of the workshop. The one, come over here. 2, they're gonna actually in the front 2 rows. I'm gonna do 2. Are you one?
I know, you don't.
3s are gonna be here, these next 2 rows, 3. 4s are gonna be in the back of the room, this table and in the back, and 5s are gonna be along this wall over here. See how fast you move compared to my colleagues. I didn't notice you outside of your suit. How are you today?
Make sure I was at this one.
All right.
Be helpful to me.
Okay, group number 1. Where's group 1? All right, guys, listen up. All right, I'm taking this down.
All right. So, I know that you really want to raise, and I know that you came to me expecting this raise because you've been with us for a very long time. But here are some of the reasons. Here are some of the reasons why I think you should. I'm giving him a list. That's the end result of why the raise is not getting.
Okay.
So she wants me to say no, for me to come up with no, I guess, right?
Yes, the whole premise is for him to understand the no, and for him to come up with that no for himself.
I don't get it.
Okay, so.
Reverse psychology.
Yes.
I like that because you validate and you shut it down.
Right, right.
I understand. I totally yes.
You get it?
No. No. I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay,
no.
yes, tell
That's
me.
what you were doing. I like that. Good.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, you did a whole role play, so I was like psychoanalyzing. I wasn't sure if you guys were rejecting me, telling me no, if you didn't want to do this because I wasn't sure. Okay. What else did you have?
What else did we have?
Or was that your main?
That was one of the main ones, and then the other one is absolutely hell no.
Okay. No. Would that be for professional settings as well? Great. Okay. Group 2.
Oh, we're group 2, okay. Yes, I don't have the time.
Okay.
I don't have it if you're asking for something. I'm sorry, but you know, I'm the only one that drives my car, so there's not.
Right.
And I'm not interested.
I'm not interested.
And then ask someone else.
Right. No, ask, yeah. I like that. Ask someone else. I like that. Group 3? I can't.
Too much on my plate.
Yes.
Why? I'm not available. Is there another option?
Ooh, I like that. Is there another option? I like that. Okay. Great. Group 4?
Well, one of the things that we came up with is, well, it's Linda, right? She said if you want to say no, just say no. One of the things that I came up with is let me think about it because maybe it might be something that you want to evaluate first before you give your answer, whether yes or no. Because I was very good at saying no to things and sometimes that caused a lot of problems. So I was like, well, let me think about it first.
Yes.
That's about being honest.
Absolutely.
Okay, you gotta be honest. And if you're talking about relationships, that's what relationships is all about. Okay?
Absolutely.
So,
That's how you build
that's the
trust.
bottom line.
Yeah.
You're building. And
Yeah.
so, you know, you got to, you know, you have to say, you know, how you feel. And that's what it's all about. I don't think you have to sugarcoat it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's that social work set.
Group 5?
were discussing about money.
Okay.
Money was the issue, what we will say back instead of saying no. First one was, we're unable to do that. This one is. The second would be, I'm broke. No money in the account. The third is check back next year.
Yes.
The fourth is, the way we would say, the way my bank is set up.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
fifth one is, it's not in my budget.
I love that. Now, okay, you have someone prepared to go?
Yes, besides Lawanda laughing and applauding all that you are saying, and most people are here as well, giving you guys hearts for all of you. Lawanda said, I'm unavailable, and together we shared, I can't, I don't, and I won't.
I can't, I don't. Can we say that at the same time? Or can we say that
We can usually sparse it up, like I can't do that, no, I don't do that, no, I won't do that.
I'm unable. Now, this is what, and Linda started mentioning it and talking about it though. Sometimes we get caught up in saying no, 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 or we get caught up in avoiding the no, so we say yes, yes, yes. But the truth of the matter is you want to be real, you want to be authentic. Really say why it's a no. I'm unable to do that. I'm just not available. I'm broke. I don't have the money. Which one did you say? What group was that I loved yours?
Oh, let me think about it.
Let me
need to evaluate it.
Let me think about it. This group, what was the other one you all had?
Another option.
Is there another option? It's about really having a conversation with people when they're calling on you for your time, for your resources, your coworkers. They want you to take another shift. They want to take off. Whatever that thing is. We sort of feel like we have to give a yes or no answer. But really, if you're giving a no, say, I'm sorry, our schedule can't accommodate you taking off right now. Because, and if you have to give an explanation, give that explanation. But when you say no, you don't always have to give an explanation. Some of us, you over-explain yourself. You need to be empowered to just say, no, that does not work for me. And you know what works when you say that? Silence. You talk too much. You say no, and then you start going, because what happened was. Silence is so awkward, but it really works. It's powerful because then people just go, okay. You have to say no and just stand in the no and just be silent. Are you guys following? Yeah. Awesome. Good, good. So we're going to be wrapping up soon. But before we do, hold on, who said no? You're empowered, yes. Okay. So the last thing I want to go over though is 5 ways to manage conflict. So really what we did today after lunch is a full day session I did with you. I crunched it all the way down, just so you get a sample and a taste of some things. So there are 5 different conflict styles, okay? And if you're working on being confident in how you manage your conflict, a lot of people said conflict management earlier. These are 5 areas that you need to be aware of. And we all fall in these 5 areas. Some of us are sort of fluid, and you may find yourself using each of these strategies, but most of us fall in one. So the first area is competing. This is a win-lose orientation. This means you are more concerned with yourself than the other, okay? So if you're a competitor, this means that you probably are verbally aggressive. You probably do not let people get a word in edgewise. You feel that you can win an argument, okay? But competing doesn't only mean that. It just means that you feel that you are right and the other person's wrong. Someone's going to lose, and it's not going to be me. That's how you think. My natural orientation is really competitive, although I refine myself. Okay? Years and years of education and counseling. Okay? How many people in here, you believe that your natural tendency is competing? Think about, okay, it's true. And there's no value judgment on any of these because it's perfect to use these depending on the situation. Competing is great when you anticipate the other person's going to be competing too. If you're up against somebody and they have a competing attitude, get ready to bring your competitive side out. You may have to debate back and forth a little more strongly. Another scenario where competing will work for you is if you are in the high power party. That means you're the supervisor, you're the parent, You're the one with the most social capital or social power or real power in your title or in your social position. Do not use a competing orientation if you're in the lower power party. That means if your supervisor comes up to you or your boss or someone with more formal power or social power than you, do not compete against them. Because if they may really be able to fire you, write you up, make your life a living hell every time you come to work. Are you guys following that? The next is avoiding. Any avoiders in here, you just don't like conflict. You just don't want to talk about it, okay? Avoiding is when you think, hopefully it'll blow over, I don't say anything. La, 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 okay? That's a lose-lose orientation because you don't allow yourself or the other person to actually address the conflict. Now, you want to use avoiding, though, in certain situations. If you are in the if you are in the low power party, you do not have as much power, you may want to avoid the conflict. If your supervisor, your boss, or someone comes up to you, a police officer, any scenario, okay, and you're in the low power party, you do not want to compete with them, you want to avoid it. Okay, sure, whatever you say, okay? The other reason that you would maybe want to avoid is if the relationship is trivial to you. Some of us, you get into back and forth with people that you're never going to see again. You about to fight somebody over the Panera salad at lunch. For what? Okay? You had Target about to go off on the price check. It doesn't matter. Some of us, we get really serious and heated conflict with people we'll never see again.
Right.
Okay? If you're not building a long-term relationship with somebody, let it go. Avoid it. Oh, you hate my guts. Oh, gosh. The Get a Grip workshop was the worst you've ever been to. Bless you. Have an awesome day. It doesn't matter. It's not going to, I'll never see you again. Hypothetically, right? Hope I'll see all of you again. Right? Okay? Now, if you're accommodating, you give in all the time. Okay? Oh, what do you want to eat? I really wanted some chicken. Well, I wanted some seafood. Well, I have a seafood allergy. Well, can we still go? Sure. You're just going along with the flow. I don't like that, David. Okay? Now, there are certain, and this means you're concerned with others. This is the exact opposite of competing. You're always worried about other people. What do you want? What will make you happy? You just naturally think that way. There are certain situations when it's appropriate to accommodate or give in. The number one reason is if you want to build trust in the relationship. So ladies, you know, when you first met your man, he was on good behavior, baby, whatever you want. Yeah, he was accommodating. He was giving in to you. And then when you locked you down, he started to have an opinion all of a sudden. Is that just me? My phone is off. Okay? But if you want to show in friendship or romantic relationship with coworkers, with your employees, give in a little bit. Maybe the rule is no, you can't leave early on Fridays. Okay? But maybe you have a small company or a small team or you want to show them some solidarity. You know what, sure, go ahead and leave 3 minutes early. Sure. No, not 4, but you probably do 3. Okay? I'm unable to do 4, but, okay? Right? Now, accommodating, you don't want to give in to a competer all the time because you know what you accommodated do, you get resentful over you. Because you feel like, I did this, especially competitors, they'll never even understand what you're doing. They're just like, wow, they're so easy to get along with. She's just a great friend ever. Because you keep giving in. You got to be careful because a lot of accommodators, you're people pleasers, and you start to feel resentful that you didn't stand up for yourself. Okay? For compromising, this is, I'll give up some, you give up some.
I know that.
So we have one pizza for all of us to share. Instead of some of us getting some slices, we're all going to get a little slither of pizza. A little sample of a pizza just so that we can all get some. That's what compromisers do. You're willing to give up if the other person gives up as well. Then you can't compromise with people that you really don't know that well. It doesn't usually work that way. But if you have a long-term relationship with someone, you should be in that compromising area. Okay? Last but not least, collaborating. That's a win-win orientation. Okay? That means you're about problem solving, you want to reach a consensus. We need to all agree before we move forward. Now, the worst situation for collaboration is we don't have time for that. I don't have time to make sure that every single person gets their voice in, gets their opinion in. A lot of times at jobs, if you're working with teams or in a group setting, it's very hard to collaborate, but if the leader is collaborative, they can cause more tension in the group. Because they're trying to get every single person's opinion in and make everybody happy when they really should be a competitor. and say, thank you, and say, no, we're probably gonna do that instead of this. Collaboration is the longest problem-solving method. It's the longest conflict management method. Do you have a question?
Well, I guess I have a statement. How do you deal with a statement that you're told you always have to be in charge?
Yeah, I hate that.
Someone told you that. They perceive you as being someone who always has to be in charge. Maybe that's not the truth for everyone, but maybe that's the truth for that person. Whoever this person is, you do feel like you need to guide them, show them the right way. They're just perceiving you that way. So I would be curious to go back and ask them or reflect for yourself, see what are those things that you are constantly in charge of for them, guiding them. When people say you always want to be in charge, that just means that you're providing them unsolicited input and feedback that I didn't really ask you for. And there are 20 different ways to do this, but you're acting like there's only one, which is the best way. It's always your way is the best way. I'm like you, okay, in charge. Sometimes you have to allow other people to step up. Sometimes we feel like, you know what, I'll never be able to do this, give this responsibility to that person, or I can't even take a day off, because if I'm not here, it's not gonna get done right, or if I'm not around, well, guess what? Give people an opportunity to actually step up and stand up and do something, and make a mistake, just how you have made mistakes. But sometimes it makes us feel like we have to take charge all the time. Yep. So collaborating is the best case scenario, but it's unrealistic if there's limited time and limited resources. Okay? Also, if there's an emergency situation. Okay? By me just briefly going over this, do you guys have a sense for where you naturally fall? One or two categories should pop out for you. Then maybe you're, like for me, I'm very compromising. I'll give up a little, you give a little, but I'm also competing. Okay? Because someone's going to lose it. It's not going to be me. Okay? I'm just, but I'll be nice about it, okay? So, this is what I want everyone to do. Have you found value so far? Just think about this. It's going to sink in, and over the next couple of days, you're going to start to analyze people and go, oh my gosh, are they avoiding me right now? Are they avoiding the conflict? So this is what I want us to do as we close. I want you to identify 3 things that you can do to improve your conflict competence. Maybe you can start to include some of the no phrases in your vocabulary a little bit more often. Maybe you can address an intractable conflict. That means you and someone have been in conflict for quite a long time now. Or you've been avoiding a conflict for quite a long time now, and it's time to address it. You'll start to move in that direction. Also, what difficult personal situation can you now confront or start to deal with? Confrontation in some cases may not mean actually engaging with another person. It may mean with you letting it go for yourself. It may mean there's a conflict that you have in your head. Some people think conflict is between 2 people. Some of us, we are conflicted in and of ourselves. You have to let it go, or you have to address it. Those coworkers that you can't stand, that work or career situation that's not getting any better, either you need to confront the people that are involved, or you need to come to peace with that and move on, or make a plan to eventually move on. Are you guys following me? Yeah. So as we wrap up, I want us to just go around and give one takeaway, one thing that really stood out for you today that you think you can implement right away, meaning this weekend, Monday, whenever you get back to work, that you think will help you to improve. Okay? We'll just do it quickly and then we'll be out of here. I'd love to start in the front row. Shalima? Yep. So what's one thing, one takeaway that you have from today's presentation? Uh-oh. Don't call me on Monday. Dr. Brandi, do you have any positions on that? Okay, Chris.
I like the 5 ways to manage conflict, because I realize there's different ways that you can manage conflict.
I want to stop being an accommodator to some people you don't stop. Absolutely.
Donna.
Just tell the truth.
Tell the truth. Be authentic. Be real.
Yeah.
That's powerful though, because most of us, a lot of people feel the same way that they can't be told the truth. So when you do that, it empowers other people to be honest too.
Just to be honest and just confront the person and say,
Yeah.
people up in here too.
Mm-hmm.
I
I don't have a problem, so.
You know what, the best way to confront someone, and I'm gonna let us wrap up, is asking questions. Is everything okay? Are you okay? When someone, when someone talks and their tone is a little off, is everything okay? A question is very powerful. Are you all right today? Because you really want to say, because you're about to get smacked. I'm not mine.
Stood out to me today is something I already knew, but it's good to be reminded, is everyone takes differently. So I gotta remind myself, even when that one different person is doing something, I gotta remind myself, they're different, everybody's different, and that helps me.
Absolutely.
About accommodating everyone.
You're gonna get resentful, you're gonna get burned out, you're not gonna feel that you get that back. Yep. Next.
We didn't really talk about it much, but I wrote it down in some notes I was taking, that, in conflict situations, it's important to show love.
It's okay to say no, just understand for yourself why you're saying no, or yes.
Yes. Next.
Be truthful how you feel, no matter, sometimes they may not understand, but at least you know that you're telling them from the heart how you feel.
Person where someone can be on the same situation, they have a completely different perspective, and just they're in their nature to handle it in a different way. Just kind of being a little kinder in those kind of situations.
You didn't say much about it, but you were saying that if the same person is coming up to you and they know how you're going to handle it, how's that concerning spirit from the Lord, and know afterwards you show you how to handle it in a different way.
I love that. How to deal with conflict and it's not to have an attitude.
Be less accommodating, and not feel guilty about it.
Yes, exactly. Don't feel guilty about it.
I find in my private life, I'm more accommodating, but in my work life, I'm very competitive, and to kind of come back with a competitive, and trying to be more collaborative, compromise.
Okay. I like that.
I like the no exercise.
Okay. Right? I was writing down my own notes. That was really good. Yep.
Yeah.
Back row.
I wrote, saying no is okay, learn how to pick a stand.
I'll be more accommodating at work.
More accommodating, yeah.
Maybe I could do one, I'm usually more avoidable, and then I try to go into compromise or collaborating, but maybe I should try to be more competitive.
Maybe, absolutely, it can work for some of you,
Right.
for real. Yep.
Knowing your emotional triggers and dealing with them.
Hey, I
Yeah.
like that.
And that's the same I have. I learned how to walk away or how to react to my emotional triggers.
Yes. Yep.
Try to understand what the other person is going through.
Yeah.
Compromise.
That's a good one.
I want to focus more on talking the emotional triggers and maybe journaling it and know when they happen and how I react.
Yes.
On the no thing, I'm looking forward to trying the silence. Just no, letting there be a moment of silence and seeing how effective and powerful that can be.
Yes.
Instead of being baited into, the backup expert.
Yep, that is so good, and it gets people, like, it wakes them up a little bit too, to be more aware of what's happening right now.
I was thinking about tailoring the way that, like the strategies that I use to manage conflict to the people that I'm interacting with, rather than going with a more accommodating strategy and just hoping that that will eventually build trust to the point where it can be compromising. That's not going to work for everybody.
Right, absolutely. You have to tailor based on the person.
What I took from the class mostly, the emotional triggers, and even identifying that on my head, and the reactions to them, not letting them control my life.
That's right. That's right. Good. Give yourselves a round of applause. It was such a great, I really had fun today. I have fun all the time, but I really did. I encourage you all to connect with me You can email me, you have my card. If you didn't get one, I have extras. Email me, let me know, Dr. Brandi, that was a bunch of crap. I can't believe it. Okay? But follow up with me. Also, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. If you are right now in a career transition or you're trying to upgrade your career to the next level, if you want to do better where you are so that you can be really recognized as a leader, that's what my specialty is. So don't hesitate to reach out for any type of advice, okay? And you can also call me. I'm very open. Do not text me at 2 a.m., create a conflict with my husband and I have to explain to them this whole thing, okay? But during regular professional hours, feel free to contact me directly and follow up with me. Anything that you may need, okay? So I appreciate that. Thank you.